I am Amy Byers with Slicker Trucking. I am the Chief Operating Officer. Slicker Trucking is an independent service provider for FedEx. We service both pickup and delivery and line haul in the northeastern Ohio area. We're in 7 terminals across the Northeast. Early on, we ran into some issues with growth and scalability. So as a small contractor, 17 to 20 people, you have some financial struggles of compliance and you don't know where to start. It's very expensive to do that. BWC gets very hard if you have one accident or someone gets hurt. That can impact your business pretty largely because you don't have really the size to absorb it. So those were some pretty big areas that we were struggling with when we were kind of going through that growth mode from 17 up. We're big enough to have some of these issues, but small enough that they would impact us pretty big. Our day-to-day operations when we were smaller, I worked in the kitchen, at our kitchen table. We did payroll operations, dispatch, truck onboarding, everything right from the kitchen table. Actually, I think when GMS first came to meet with us, they met at our house at the kitchen table with my dog jumping all over them. And we just really did everything ourselves. It was 17 to 20 people trying to get everything together. Everything seemed manageable. And it was just, I think that point, we knew we wanted to grow. We had to kind of make some changes. One of the things that I did not expect when we started the business was the employee issues that we would have, the day-to-day issues and issues with compliance and personalities and things that a large company has to do that a small company didn't have to do. So some of those challenges with taking the proper steps, giving people the proper course of progressive discipline, coaching, onboarding, not missing a step from the legal standpoint, I think was different than being in corporate, where I had come from, and being small, where David and I had kind of come from together. One of the reasons that we sought out GMS was for BWC. That was probably one of the lowest hanging fruit, kind of biggest impact areas of our business. As I had mentioned earlier, the rates when you have one incident just impacts a small business. And with the GMS model, being able to absorb that really did help us. It lowered our BWC rate quite a bit. And even with the administrative fees that GMS applies, we were saving. So at a minimum, that's kind of how we jumped in. So those were the initial impact areas that we had with GMS. And then, the relationship with our account managers and payroll, kind of all those things just kind of was the added benefit. And then as we've grown, we've been able to layer in some of the additional services. I think the benefit of working with GMS is the flexibility. They really are a true partner. With the scalability, we would not have been able to grow from 20 to 200 without GMS. The ability to a la carte, we still don't use the benefit piece, but they do quote us every year. But they're really open with not kind of shoving things down our throats. They allow us to pick the things that are best for us. So HR, payroll, legal advice, BWC, all of those things. And now we're doing performance management. So the cool thing is that if I need it, they'll either offer it or they'll build it for us. It's just a really great company. So I think the flexibility is probably what I like the most. And their willingness to learn our business and jump in where they can, but not overstep. So the performance management is an essential service that GMS offers us right now that I didn't think was going to be as essential as we needed. The employee base in this new hiring climate that we're in, almost a crisis after COVID, people really want that feedback and they want to look forward to it. So the scheduling, the timeliness, it comes up on my calendar. It goes automatically to our management team for them to do the review and then back to me for approval. It makes the company more successful, but it also makes our employees feel like they're important, and it does allow me to give a pause to the people that are doing the right things and want to be here every day. So like they always say like the 90-20 or the 90-10 rule, right? So it's 90% of the issues come from 10% of your people. I feel like we have 98-2. So 98% of our issues come from 2% of our people. And it does cause us to handle the problems and the things that are causing the biggest fires. So you don't get that pause to say, hey, I wanna look at this employee, and I'm just gonna look at this employee for a little bit. I'm going to take the time and review them and look at their year and spend the time and focus on them because they deserve it. So it's been really impactful. So the GMS partnership has changed our day-to-day operations as we've gotten larger. We are in 7 different terminals. We don't have the ability to be everywhere at the same time. Danielle, of course, is a huge asset for our employees if they have questions as our account manager. Andrea, she's really easy if we have any questions with payroll. Pam, everybody, like I feel like I know like firsthand who to contact. Brian and BWC. I don't think that we could have gotten this big with how FedEx is asking us to stay lean and nimble, even when you get large. So I think partnering with a company like GMS is the only way to achieve those things. So the doors that GMS has opened for us has been kind of being a leader at FedEx and doing things the right way, setting the example and setting the bar across the country even as to what it takes to be successful and what it takes to stay compliant and be the best FedEx contractor we can be. So without them, I don't know if we could hit those compliance marks from a payroll audit to just everyday OSHA and business compliance. It's just very easy to do business when you're partnered with somebody like GMS. I think my advice for a small business owner is to not be scared of the fees. I think everyone sees a PEO or an administrative assistant type company that the fees are gonna, I can't afford it. But I think that the savings, not only in time, but the savings in the fees and things that you would normally spend in other aspects of the area and your time to free yourself up. Your time is very valuable as an AO or an owner or even a BC. So to take some of that load off and be able to work on things that are more important to FedEx and your business, and then give that bandwidth where you can grow. I think that's one of the things that I would recommend is don't be afraid of it, kind of lean into it, do the research, listen to the pitch, have them help you run the numbers, reach out to fellow contractors that are using companies like that, and try to see, where that would fit in your business. Because we were small, we weren't, 200 people when we first started. And we do have a couple other businesses that we use GMS for, and they are smaller businesses. So, but it's really been a game changer for us. I would recommend GMS to other small businesses and large businesses, and I have. And I'm an open book. We have kind of stumbled along the way. We are not perfect, but we have figured it out, and GMS is just a really great partner in order to help us answer those questions, be there. Sometimes they'll even say, honestly, no, you can't do that. But it's an honest place to start, and I'm an open book, so if anybody ever wanted to reach out and ask questions, I'm here.